Good morning, guys. Hope you're all having a really nice day. I'm just sitting here having my morning coffee. I thought I would do a really quick impromptu video, just having a general discussion about friends, social media, friendship in the workplace, social media in the workplace, all of this stuff, because I actually had somebody write me on Instagram and they asked me if I could do a video talking about friendship and friends at work, especially related to being in healthcare. So I thought I would just make a quick video while I'm just sitting here having my coffee talking about this with you guys. So this isn't going to be the type of video where you can see all kinds of fancy things on the screen. I'll probably just choose one nice image, put it in the background for you, and this is more or less something you can listen to while you drive, while you have a bath, while you go to sleep at night, while you work out, while you clean your house, whatever the case may be. And if you're new here, I would love if you would consider subscribing. I make all kinds of videos on this channel. I do skincare reviews, clean with me's, declutters, organization, perfume reviews, skincare reviews, and I do also talk a little bit about lifestyle and these kind of like self-help videos, if that's what you want to call them. Basically just whatever I have inspiration in me to share with you guys, I like to bring to you guys. So I'm a very private person, although I have a YouTube channel, which has caused me a little bit of anxiety over the years, because when I first started my YouTube channel, I didn't ever intend for friends, family, coworkers, anybody to ever see my videos. I wasn't making it for them. I had a passion to share things I loved in my world around me, whether that was how I organized my home, a little bit of minimalist living, which I was much more of a minimalist when I first started my channel. I've definitely expanded a little bit, but I would say I'm still a very minimalist-ish person. So that was why I started my channel. I never intended for other people that I knew to see it. It was very awkward for me. It's always been very awkward for me. Somewhere through the grapevine, people started discovering, I'm sure at work, that I had a channel. I just had a couple of people make comments that they would make that I could tell by what they said that they knew that I had a YouTube channel. A couple people made comments about perfume, or would say something like, yeah, you seem like the type of person who likes that, or, oh, I really like the same things as you. You know, I really like organization and handbags and all this. They would talk about stuff, and I was like, that's interesting of you to say that, because I've never spoken to you about those things. So, okay, instead of being awkward about it, they could just come up to me and tell me, hey, I found your YouTube channel, but instead they just say awkward little things. And it leaves me feeling very uneasy and very anxious, because I'm like, oh, okay. Because these are people that I spend my professional days with. These are people I go and I work alongside them and we work together. And that's my professional life. I don't like to blur my professional life with my private life. So I always try to keep those very separate. And even before I had a YouTube channel, I did have an Instagram, but I kind of didn't I was very picky about who I let follow me on Instagram. And then when I actually started my Instagram for my YouTube, I actually went through and I blocked as many people as I could think of. Anybody whose name would come up in my head or was suggested to me, anybody in my town that I knew, I would block them, because I didn't feel comfortable having everybody I knew follow me on Instagram, because this is, what I do here on YouTube is a little bit more of a hobby, and it's my creative work. I don't use it as a tool of communication with friends and family the way a lot of other people use Facebook and Instagram as a tool for communication or as a connection tool or a social tool. That is not why I'm here. I do it as a creative tool, as a creative outlet. And because the topic of my videos is always to do with me and my closet and my home and my life and what I do in my spare time, if people at work are then going to be following me or watching my videos, it basically gives them a front row center seat to my life, and that's not necessary. So on one hand, I love doing YouTube as a hobby. On the other hand, I hate that pretty much immediately gets rid of any privacy or anonymity I would have from people who watch my videos that I know. You know what I mean? It's weird, because I don't need to remain private from the rest of the world, but I definitely want to keep privacy from people I know. How strange is that? So I don't use Facebook. I have a Facebook account, but I only go on it if I need to shop for something secondhand or find a home for something or sell something, a means of communication, because I don't listen to the radio, don't watch TV, I don't watch mainstream television, I don't watch the news. So I really don't know what's going on, in general, which I have to say is actually a blessing, and it's really nice. It's very peaceful not to always know what's going on in the world. But that's where Facebook is handy. If there's something I really need to keep up on, I can log in, I can find the organization, I can follow them, or I can check out and see what's going on. That's really my only way to know what's going on in the outside world. And I still don't do that often. Sometimes I'll Google something, sometimes I'll quickly look up the news. If I hear there's something crazy going on, I'll look up the news real quick, just so I can kind of keep abreast of world events. I think that's obviously important for some reasons, but it's not something I regularly consume. So in regards to friendship in the workplace, it's kind of strange because I can count on one hand, you guys, the number of people I consider close friends, that people I can trust, people who I can tell them things about myself, secrets about myself, if you will, or, just talk to them about personal things. And I know that those conversations are going to remain confidential and that they're not going to go any further than that person. In fact, I think I can count on less than one hand, probably half my hand, of the number of people in this world I feel comfortable telling those kind of things to and having those conversations with. And 2 of them are family members. So that tells you a lot right there. The trouble with quote unquote friendship in the workplace is that unless you become very, very close with somebody and you become very close friends with them to the point that you trust them and they belong on that one hand, those people, they may be very good acquaintances and you may consider them friends, but they're not. It still is not a good idea to let them super close to you, tell them a lot of detail about your life, share things with them that you would want to remain confidential or that you wouldn't want the rest of the workplace to know or the whole world to know. Because the reality is, you guys, and I've worked in enough different places to know, once you leave that place of employment, unless you guys remain really, really good friends and you talk consistently and you get together for coffee and you keep in touch, and even sometimes if you do keep in touch, you might think you're quote unquote keeping in touch. Maybe you have them on Facebook, maybe you have them on Instagram. And so you leave the workplace and a year or 2 passes and you think, oh yeah, I'm still really good friends with so-and-so, but actually you haven't seen that person since you worked with them. You've never gotten together for coffee. You just follow each other on social media and like each other's posts, which by the way, that's not real friendship. That is not a normal relationship. Unless you keep super close with a person, those people will not regard you as somebody that they have to respect your confidentiality, and you're not going to be the type of person, you're not going to be the person that they are going to defend you or change the topic of conversation if your name comes up in the lunchroom. For example, if somebody mentions in the lunchroom, oh, I heard so-and-so's having a baby, or oh, I heard they're really having some health problems, or oh, I heard they just got a new car, or they're dating so-and-so. If that person is really your friend, they would prefer, hopefully, that you aren't gossiped about or talked about. It's none of anyone else's business, whether you're pregnant, whether you just lost a baby, whether you got a new job, whether you're dating someone new, whether you have health problems. It's none of that person's, anyone else's business. So that friend of yours that's still in the workplace, you would think they would jump to the opportunity to change the topic. They should kind of come to your defense a little bit, and they should try to respect your privacy and your confidentiality. The truth is, most people will not do this. Once you leave that place, unless you are very, very close friends to the point that you can trust them with confidential information and all of that stuff, you will become somebody they're comfortable chatting about, gossiping about, and not always in a malicious way. It's just, that's how people are. People are chatty, people like to talk, and people say, oh, have you heard about so-and-so? Do you know what they're up to? They're not on Facebook, And the funny thing is, it really pisses people off, I notice, when they can't creep you, when they can't find you on social media. They're like, when they want to find information about you, the first place they do is go to Facebook or Instagram and try to find you. And then they look through all your stuff because they're nosy. People are nosy. They want to know what you're up to. They want to see who you're dating, what you've been up to, where are you working, where are you living, anything, photos of your kids. People are just nosy. That's one of the things I hate about social media, and that's one of the reasons I don't use social media the way the rest of the world uses social media. I also don't post pictures of me and my boyfriend. I don't ever talk about him or say his name or what he does or where he works or anything like that, because it's no one's damn business. That's just the way it is. People always want to know. Sometimes I'll share if he got me something nice, or I'll make comments all the time about, my boyfriend doesn't like this perfume, or, I love my boyfriend so much, whatever. I'll say things like that. So I don't know. I don't presume to know what goes on in the minds of people, but it's just it's so hard for me to strike a balance between being a YouTuber and also having a private life and not allowing people to creep my stuff. Another thing that I find really frustrating is if you Like if you work in healthcare, you might have worked in multiple different facilities before, and you might have worked in a place or a floor or a unit more than once. Sometimes that's just how it is in nursing or in healthcare. You get a position here, that position ends, or you decide you want to try a different position, you go to a different facility. One of the very first things people will ask me if they haven't seen me in a while, instead of asking like, hey, how are you? How are things? Haven't seen you in a while. They'll jump right into something super personal and they'll just hit you with a direct, invasive question that is none of their business. Like, so you're dating so-and-so, right? Or, oh, and you're dating so-and-so. Or they'll just jump in something super personal. And I'm sitting here thinking, girl, I haven't seen you. I haven't even seen you in 2 years. I don't have you on social media. I have not spoken to you. The very first thing you're going to ask me is something invasive about my personal life so that you can talk about it because it's hot gossip. Like, how about if you want to get to know me, talk to me like I'm a human being for one thing and not just this topic of conversation, and ask me out for coffee. And maybe if we go out for coffee enough times and I feel comfortable enough with you and I start to trust you, maybe then I'll open up and I'll share some details about my life. Probably not, because I've learned the hard way that you need to keep your work life and your personal life private, and that you don't need to share what you do, details about your private life at work. People are too chatty, especially in healthcare. People like to talk, and I hate that whole like gossipy mentality. I hate the chitty chattiness. I hate that the second somebody leaves the room, everyone else in the room starts talking about them. I hate the two-facedness, the two-faced culture. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have worked with wonderful, wonderful people. I've always gotten along with my coworkers really well. I think that they've always liked me for the most part. I mean, there's always going to be somebody that you feel like you bump heads with, but I've always loved my coworkers. The fact of the matter is that's just the culture in hospitals. Is people like to sit around and talk, people like to gossip, people have nothing better to do on their night shifts once all the work is done and you're sitting around eating lunch in the middle room, on the units. People have nothing better to do but talk, and so they talk about people. And if I'm sitting here hearing gossip and rumors about others, then you can bet that they're not going to be afraid to also share gossip and rumors about me or anyone else. I've even had people straight up come up to me and say and ask me questions about my life, my personal life, and I'm not even close with these people. I'm just acquaintances. I would call them a good acquaintance. They're nice. We've bought each other coffee the odd day. We've worked quite a few shifts together. We laugh, we talk, we enjoy working together. But I've had those people even ask for personal information, and people just don't have a filter. They don't know what's okay and what's not okay to ask. And I'm just not always comfortable talking about my personal life. And when I was at work, I never, ever shared names of who I was dating, where I would go, what I would do, what that person did for a living. But that didn't stop people from prying. It didn't stop them from continuing to try to get information out of me. And people would even be so bold as to say to me straight up, anything you tell me is confidential. Okay, if you're going to start the conversation with that, then I know I shouldn't tell you anything. And I'm not going to, because I don't need to. Honey, if I want to tell people things about my personal life, I will talk to a therapist. What makes you think I'm going to sit down at the desk at the nursing station and tell you all about my personal life and who I'm dating and what I do and what his name is and where we go and everything else about my life, where I live, all this stuff? What makes you think I'm going to sit down and give you all this personal information at the nursing station? Yeah, that's, when I was younger, when I first started my career, I was very open with people, very, very open, very friendly, very social. I considered a lot of my coworkers to be very good friends. And I would tell them, if I had a date with somebody, I would go to work and I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I have a date with so-and-so on Saturday night. And, everybody would be like, oh my God, yay. They were all excited for you. And I would talk to them about things like, yeah, my daughter, daycare, blah, blah, blah. Like I would talk to them about things and going to the gym, fitness competition, blah, blah, blah. I would share everything with people. I would share photos. We all got along so well. It was like one big family. It was very nice. But a couple of those people were the reason that all of a sudden everyone in town knew who I was dating. It's very, very frustrating. So I have learned the hard way just not to share details with people. Another thing is that once you leave that facility, and if you're not on Facebook, you will not hear from those people again unless they have your phone number and you are good friends with them, or you have to trade a shift with them. You will never hear from them again. So you might think that you're close friends, you might think you're good friends, but unless you keep up and you put effort into the relationship and you make an effort to spend time with them and nurture that relationship and further it and strengthen it and build that bond, unless you do that, you are never going to hear from those people again. And so all of that personal information you shared with them, all of that confidentiality that you had, that is now just, it's no longer being sort of revered or protected or respected, because people just don't seem to care. They just don't seem to care. And people are so quick and easy to open their mouths and chit chat about things for, I don't know why, for attention, for clout, because they want to be considered interesting. The sad thing is, though, when people have nothing better to do but talk about other people, it says you don't have enough going on in your own life, so you'd rather sit around and chat about someone else. That's very, very sad. I mean, it's not very often that someone genuinely inquires about somebody because they're concerned about them. It's more like, oh, I heard this. Did you hear that? Are they moving? Are they doing this? It's more like they just want information. It's not genuine concern. It's curiosity and nosiness is what it is. The other thing that I have learned throughout life is that people, when they see that you are doing well at something, when they see that you are doing well or getting ahead or something in an area of your life, not everybody is going to be supportive of you and want the best for you. So there will always be people who are, they just will stop liking you, plain and simple. They will just stop liking you, and sometimes they will even start hating on you just because they see that you are in a better place than they are, whether that's emotionally, financially, relationship-wise. You start dating somebody who has, who's an affluent person, or who has like a really good job or something like that, or who treats you well, or who spoils you and takes you on vacations, or makes your life easier, or buys you something really nice. Most people are not genuinely happy for you. Most people, like maybe your mother's happy for you, your brother's happy for you, maybe your sister, maybe your very, very best friend is happy for you. And actually, you guys, I've even lost a couple of friends that I thought were close friends, because once they saw me doing better than them, once they saw me getting really nice things, luxury goods, and going on nice trips and being spoiled and dating an affluent person, stuff like that, once they saw that, I don't know if it's jealousy or envy, or I don't know, it's like misery loves company. Like they'd rather that you don't do better than them. They'd rather that you don't have things that they don't have. It's like they almost want you to fail. I had a friend who I was really good friends with her. I mean, I knew her for years. We were close. And she and I went for coffee, and I told her, about what was going on in my life and new things that were going on and trips and all this stuff. And instead of being genuinely happy and just saying like, congratulations, I'm so happy for you, that's awesome, she started asking things like, well, do you really think this? Like, do you really think that it's this? Like, blah, blah, blah. She was being very critical. She was looking for holes in my life. She was trying to find ways to bring me down and caution me. And it was like, how dare you? Like she had a pretty good life. She had a wonderful relationship. She had 2 kids. She was an independent entrepreneur. I was always very happy for her. I always looked up to her. So the moment that I get ahead, instead of being happy for me, she's like cautioning me, like saying, well, just be careful of this. Just watch out for this. Like, are you kidding me? So that was the last time I went for coffee with her, and our relationship continued to disintegrate, and I haven't spoken to her in a long time. But it's just funny how that one dynamic, people will always root for you until you're doing better than them, and then they're not rooting anymore. And I saw this quote one time, something along the lines of, people who hate on you are always below you. Like, people who hate on you are not doing better than you. Why? Because people who are doing better than you have no reason to hate on you. It's always the people who are below you who are going to look at you. They're going to be miserable. They're going to be jealous. Misery loves company. They don't want you to do that much better than them. Once my life started to get better, like once my life started to get really, really good, it was like people couldn't handle it. And I lost a lot of friendships because instead of being my friend, all of a sudden I was a topic of gossip. And that's really unfortunate. And I know I'm probably not the only woman who's been through that. As happy as you are, and as much as you want to be open and extroverted and share your life and talk with people, not everybody wants you to get ahead, and not everybody supports you, and not everybody is hoping the best for you. So it's just a good idea to keep most things to yourself. And that's kind of partly why I started a YouTube channel, because I wanted to share, I wanted to share things I loved, and I wanted to talk about things that I loved, whether it was perfume or whatever, organization, things like that. And I wanted to do it on a larger scale than just sharing it with people at work. And I'm also very creative. I wanted it to mean something. And I wanted to build something and grow something. And I'd always been inspired by other minimalist and organization and beauty YouTube channels. And so I just wanted to do it for myself. And it has been so much more rewarding. Why? Because your vibe attracts your tribe. People who appreciate you and actually love what you do and are inspired by you, and you inspire them and you make them feel good as a human being, and you give them something to work toward, and they see something you've done, whether it's with organizing your closet or anything about your life. They see that and they think, wow, I love that. You really inspire me. You make me want to drink coffee. You make me want to, go out and try that perfume, and this all makes me happy, and you make me want to declutter. So I reach a broader audience this way of people who are inspired. And don't get me wrong, when I'm in the workplace, getting to know people, chummy with them, and people back in the day would see my Instagram, they would be like, wow, you're so organized. I really like your style. I like how you do things. I want you to come organize my home. People would be really inspired by that. And a lot of people were kind about it. So I'm not saying it's all gloom and doom and that everybody is rude and inconsiderate. I'm not saying that. It's just that you have to be careful, because especially if you're like me and you're just a genuinely nice person and you tend to believe in the best in people, not everybody out there is a good person, and not everybody out there has good intentions. And anyway, so that's why I wanted to do this. That's why I like doing my YouTube channel and having my Instagram related to my YouTube, because this is a creative outlet for me. I keep it separate. I even time things differently. Like, I don't post videos and posts around when I actually do things in real life, because people at work don't need to know that. And I know that there are the odd people that I work with who have found my channel, who probably watch my videos from time to time. Maybe they even follow me on Instagram and I don't even know. Does it make me uncomfortable? Absolutely it does. I don't like that idea, especially because it's kind of creepy. It's like, okay, you're working with me all the time and you watch my stuff, but we never talk about it. It's weird. Anyway, so I even stagger my posts. I stagger what I do. For example, if I go on vacation, I don't post anything about it while I'm on vacation, or like when I'm going or anything like that. I always keep the dates a little bit off, because people just don't need to know that stuff, especially if you're from a small town or something. Yeah, this kind of turned into more of a broad topic than just friendship in the workplace, but this is just stuff I've learned over the years. I've learned the hard way that A, not everybody has your best intentions, even if they seem like they're a friend or an acquaintance. B, not everybody wants you to do well in life and is going to be happy for you. C, it is best to keep things to yourself and have a little bit of mystery about you. Don't share every little detail about your life, what you're doing, who you're dating. Keep things to yourself. When I go to work, I'm there to do one thing. I'm there to do my job. I do have a couple coworkers that I'm a little bit more close with or chummy with. I enjoy working with them. We've had really nice conversations on night shifts. We've confided in each other. I've seen them cry. They've seen me cry. We bring each other coffee. There's those people. But even with those people, you guys, I'm still careful not to divulge too much information, because at the end of the day, they are still your coworker and you just never know. And you just don't need, if there's something, this is the ultimate thing. If there's something you don't want the entire workplace to know, don't tell a single person. Even if you think you're good friends with them, don't. Save it for your mama, save it for your therapist, save it for your brother, save it for your boyfriend or your husband or your girlfriend or whoever. Don't tell people at work. It is not worth it. That 5-minute, 10-minute conversation in the lunchroom that you think is casual, well, the next thing you know, the entire building could know what you guys talked about. And maybe it's not even anything that's a big deal. It's just that people just don't need to know your business. You know what I mean? That's all there is to it. So yeah, it kind of sucks in a way, because I love YouTube. I love doing YouTube, but I also miss where I was like really mysterious, and now I'm not that mysterious, because people could, if they really want to, they can just check out my Instagram and check out my YouTube, and they can get, a pretty good in-depth look at how I feel, how I think, how I do things, what my house looks like, the things I buy, the things I review, where I put my money, So I try to keep things as private as I can, while at the same time still sharing a passion here on YouTube. That is pretty much about it for today's video, guys. I don't know if that was really helpful for you. I will say in closing that my friendship circle, who I thought were my friends, has gone from fairly large to almost non-existent since leaving Facebook. Very few people do I keep in touch with. I keep in touch with like 2 people from my childhood who I was best friends with as a preteen. 2 people, because those friendships don't seem to go away. If you're best friends with someone in grade 4 and 5 and 6 and 7, I mean, those are friendships. You've formed a pretty good bond, right? So no matter what happens in life, you're probably going to be friends with those people or keep in touch with them in some capacity. And other than that, I just have a lot of acquaintances, you guys. I don't keep in touch with that many people. I've got my family, I've got my dog, I've got my cat, I've got my boyfriend. My boyfriend is my best friend. He's my partner in life. He's the only person I tell everything to. And that's about it. And it's good that way. It's better that way. So that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for listening. That's my thoughts on friendship in the workplace, social media, and YouTube. And hopefully this was nice to listen to. Maybe you could find it relatable in some way. And if you really want to have a conversation with me, the best way to do that is to reach out on Instagram. It's really hard for me to filter through hundreds of comments, but I always check my messages on Instagram. So thanks so much, you guys. I'll see you all very soon in my next one. Don't forget to drink your coffee, enjoy life, declutter, minimize your home, do things for yourself that are good for yourself, take time for self-care. And I love you guys, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye.